Pleased to meet you. This is Fixed and Folded, the knife review channel for the casual knife collector. I am Cody, and my guest fashion consultant Tommy is looking regal on his left seat. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Reate PLXF. This version has aluminum handle scales and comes with a stonewash blade finish. This is a medium-sized knife, a tiny bit bigger than a bug out, but in that same size category. Not like the bug out. This has a nice chunky handle thickness and a really stout blade thickness also. The defining feature of this Reate PLXF is the pivot deployment system. It has the button lock is right where the pivot is, and it's great. It works effortlessly, and I would like to see more button lock knives use this mechanism. You see you have a cratered surround for the button, milled into the aluminum. Man, this is like a T6, so that's weird. With T6s especially, you want to make sure that you're pushing in while you're loosening or tightening the pivot. Otherwise, you're liable to strip the thread, just because T6 is so small that you have not as much surface contact as something larger, T8, T10 going up. The fit and finish on the Reate is exceptional. Reate has a excellent reputation for quality, for fit and finish. They're a Chinese company, and they make really high-end knives like the T1000 and the T6000. And Reate is also the manufacturer of another one of my high-end knives, the James brand Barnes. And there are some similarities here with dimensions. So this has a usable front finger choil to choke up. And that's the default position for me. I can't fit all my fingers on the handle, but this seems more of a balance point. And it provides excellent control over the blade for doing EDC tasks. This isn't really sized to be anything other than an EDC knife. And initially, I was disappointed in the cutting performance of the blade geometry just because of how stout the blade stock is, but my opinion changed when I realized some of my other favorite knives are about this size and also have a blade stock thickness that is this thick, and I had no issues with them at all, so I just had to update my perspective. Like, for example, this other Reate manufactured knife, the James brand Barnes, which in terms of EDC use, I just love. This is just a perfect version of a pocket knife. Everything's implemented to perfection. And this blade thickness is the same. Looking at the base here, you can see the same thickness, and yet I have no issues at all. And this is not a hollow grind or anything, it's just a high saber grind with a bead blasted finish, I think they call that. And you have a bout. You also have a high saber grind on the PLXF. A little bit taller of a blade. So cutting performance is going to be about the same. This might even be a little bit better because you have a longer distance for the for the blade angle. The cutting edge from the box is good and sharp. It slices receipt paper, no problem. Has a nice piercing tip. Food prep is not great just because this is thick. It just wedges cheese, you know, it doesn't slice through cheese more than it actually kind of pushes cheese away from the block. So it's not an ideal food prepper, but then, you know, food prep is just one thing that you might use a knife for in a pinch, and obviously the thinner your blade angle is going to be, the thinner your blade stock is going to be, as long as you have a sharp cutting edge. That's what you want for food prep, right? And long enough blade that you're going to be able to travel through the food that you want. Like an ideal EDC blade thickness for what I use an EDC for, which is cutting tags, opening boxes of knives, of course, but you know, breaking down boxes, just consumerism things, opening packages, right? Would be this. This is a nice thin blade stock. This one is my North Arm Skaha 2, and wow, yeah, for slicing, this is a great thickness. So you can see this is substantially thicker. So this isn't made to be slicing champion. This is made to be kind of stylized, you know, beefy, functional but beefy. Okay, so moving on. I guess I'll just talk about the shape. So you have a drop point with a good balance of piercing and belly. Let's go with, I thought I had my measuring tape right with me, but I'm going to have to grab it from here. We're going to measure the blade length. So cutting edge is 3.2 inches. Overall blade length is 3.5 inches. Total handle length is 4.5 inches, and usable handle length in this position is 3.5. Is that what it is? 3.75 inches. So this shows the dimensions of my hand well, as I have 3.5 inch finger width and a 4-inch palm width. You can see that my palm doesn't quite fit over the entire handle, but my fingers do. And I find the thickness of the handle to be very comfortable. It helps to get a secure grip on here because in combination with the very smooth coating on the aluminum. If this was thin, then I would not feel confident with this back grip. Because it's blocky, I feel like I have a good purchase for normal tasks. And if I want a more secure grip, then I choke up forward. And then, of course, the indent of the finger and also, you know, the back area here, like this, provides excellent grip from sliding forward and back. The impression of quality just by looking at the knife and handling it is very high, and the implementation of the pivot, like the action on the bearings, is very smooth right from the box, drop shutty, and the shape of the flipper tab is very comfortable and practical. You have some mild jimping on the front, but it's rounded. It's like a medium depth away from the handle, and it works very well. You can light switch it, and you can also what do you call it? There's light switch and like button press or something. So I can button push it here and light switch it. So Works very well, and this is just second nature to use. Let's see if it changes. Yes, so once it is in the forward position, the button pushes out, presses out, and you can see it a little bit sticks out from the handle. And then once it is released, then the button goes inset into the milled crater of the handle surround. And you have a safety lock for the open position. It's a nice tactile switch that makes a nice click, and it prevents it from releasing during the open position. You have ambidextrous placement for the pocket clip, and the pocket clip works really well. It's comfortable in the hand, and you have this much area poking out of your pocket, which is useful. It's enough material to just grab. So you want to grab the knife, you can just pinch it, pull it out. So it's a useful location. Slides in and out of the pocket well. It passes my pocket test. My 511 pants have 5.5-inch front pockets, and there's a substantial amount of space left over if I just drop it in, but I can still easily grab it. You have a nice back spacer, which I'm not sure what material it is. I think it's stainless steel. It's probably titanium. Knowing Reate quality materials, it's probably titanium or could be aluminum, but it's metal. The jimping doesn't serve any actual purpose other than just looks. It's actually inset into the handle dimensions, so it provides no usable traction. It just looks cool, and of course it provides stability for the handle. You've got a little, going back to the blade shape, you have an unsharpened swedge on the top, which might aid a little bit in piercing. It moves the balance of the weight back into the knife a tiny bit, and adds some style and design. It's a high saber grind with a flat grind here. It's not a hollow ground here. You have a tasteful Reate logo there, and aesthetically it looks tasteful. It's not overly styled. Looks kind of classy, understated. It's an understated design. It's not boring. It's not overly plain. It's just straightforward design. For some reason, this color scheme, these materials, and with the action of the pivot and the weight, this reminds me of like a 90s, like this would, this character of this knife reminds me of like a 90s high-end photography camera, like a Canon, a metal Canon black, and maybe some stonewash features on there, and like the photography button. This kind of has that same feel, so like a 90s high-end photography camera feel. That's what this gives me the impression of. This is a good knife. Will this be the one perfect EDC knife for someone? I mean, it's hard to say, just because you would think that for someone to be having an EDC knife, you want to kind of maximize slicing ability. So maybe a more ideal one EDC knife for someone would be something with the blade stock thickness that is of like a Skaha 2, or a Spyderco, something like a Paramilitary 2, which blade stock thickness is a little bit. This is a little bit thinner. The PM2 blade stock thickness. This is a little bit thinner, and then you have your full flat grind. So this is going to be just focused slicer. But for someone who wants a couple EDC knives, this could fit well into your collection. The blade stock thickness does match the handle thickness very well, proportionally. And just the feel in hand, it's heavy. This is a heavy knife, even though it does have multiple milling holes in the, I'm assuming this is stainless steel liners. I don't know the material. With Reate, it might be all titanium hardware. They're high-end company, but I'll assume this is a stainless steel, multiple milling holes liners on both sides. This is one of their budget knives, so the price is around $225 Canadian. I ordered this on Blades Canada. You can also find this on Bladezilla in Canada also. Those are two companies I know that carry this knife in Canada. Yeah, this is a very good knife. I like it. I have to give it a maximum score because it does do knife things. It does all the knife things you need an EDC knife to do, and bit and finish is excellent. It's not offensive to the eyes. It's not too boring. It's not too overly styled. It's not too overly priced. Nitro V blade. Please, someone tell me if you know, why should somebody choose Nitro V over 14C28 Sandvik steel? Is it just that this is less expensive to manufacture and use? Because their characteristics are similar, but it seems like Nitro V has slightly less toughness and slightly less stainlessness over Sandvik 14C28. So let me know, because Nitro V is considered to be a good budget steel. I know with Nitro V you can get a screaming sharp edge on it, and it will sharpen easily, and it has okay edge retention, like 3 out of 10. So that's the same as 8CR13 and OS8. And I think also Sandvik has a 3 out of 10 edge retention. So I guess for this knife, for the price, for the fit and finish, I have to say this is a 10 out of 10 knife. You know, this I would say fully realizes the designer's intentions of from concept to reality. So for someone who wants a medium-sized, substantial quality feeling EDC knife for not that much money, this is a really good option. And it has this pivot is really charming. Has a lot of character. It's fun. It certainly can be really fidgety, and it's interesting. And I do want to see more folding knives in the future that are going to be button lock. Try this pivot button lock system. The body screws. Okay, so I'm going to get my Torx screws because I think that the pivot is a T6 and yet the body screws look like they're T8s, which is kind of funny. I'm going to quickly grab my Torx bits here, and we're going to find out together what size the Torx bits are. Yeah, body screws are T8s. And then let's check out the pivot. Oh, okay. It's not a T6. Is it a T7? Okay. Interesting. So, where's this T8ness? Okay, so let me try it on here. Oh, okay, weird. Okay, I take that back. It seems like, that's strange. This is the T8 bit, and it's locking up into the pivot screw. It's either a T7. No, I think it's a T8. That's so odd. That's an interesting optical illusion. You can see my T8 bit locking into the handle screws, and then this is my same T8 bit into the button lock pivot, and yet visually, to me, maybe to you, this hole looks smaller than that hole. Cool optical illusion. Okay, there we go. So T8's all around. In that case, this is a well thought out knife. So I got to give this a 10 out of 10. I'm going to do quick size comparisons here for you before we go. All right, so you can see this is about the same dimensions as the James Brand Barnes. It's a medium-sized knife. And then you go up to full size. You got my Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And you go to extra large size. This is the Military 2 from Spyderco. So you can see where this fits in. All right, that concludes my scattershot review of the Reate PLXF in aluminum and nitro V for about $225 Canadian. I hope you all have a great day, and I have a lot of knives coming, so I will see you again soon. Take care.